I've been asked so many times, how did I really start my property investment journey? So I really wanted to share this, but really it was taking me time for me to actually be able to sit down and actually think about it really. I've just reflected about my investment journey. So in this video, I'm going to share with you how I started my property investment journey without any of my own money. Hopefully I'll be able to inspire you, or I may be able to actually give you a pointer on how you could start your property investment journey. Again, I've done this for 7 years, and I just want to run you down quickly on how I started my property investment journey. So you could do exactly the same thing, or you could actually find something in it that would help you make yours better. So again, before we get going, if you like any of the videos I'm sharing out there, I would really appreciate if you could like the videos, and if you could share it with friends and family, so that would help the algorithm push our videos out there for lots more people to actually learn and obviously know who I am, and then obviously help educate them as well. Let me start. When I wanted to go into property, I've been told so many times I need lots of money to start property. So I remember when I was at uni, I spoke to my friends, my university friends. Everybody's asking, oh, what do you want to do after uni, or what do you want to do when you grow up, etc., etc. I always said to them basically, I want to be a property investor. When I was saying that, I didn't even have a house. I was literally sleeping in someone else's sofa. I imagine me saying that, but in my head, I've already imagined it happening. I saw it happening. But the only barrier I had then, basically, I was told I needed ridiculous amount of money to actually start the property investment journey. Some people I asked, some investors, well, I didn't ask investors back then, unfortunately. I was asking people that never knew about properties. People that have just buy their homes. They haven't even invested in properties. So basically, I asked and said, listen, if you need to buy properties, basically, you need minimum of £50,000. Some people said I need £60,000. Some said I need £100,000. It was just too much of money they were asking for. I was thinking, really, that was going to take me very long time to be able to save that money to start my property investment journey. But the thing I did, basically, I kept that urge in me. I never ever let go of that. Right? When people ask, what do you want to do? What you want to do after uni? I said, I'm going to work for a couple of years, few years. I said to myself, 5 years actually. After uni, I work 5 years and I'm doing my own thing. They asked me, what is your own thing, bro? I said, I want to go into properties. They said, well, you have to save lots of money to get into properties. So I always thought I needed that money. So I finished uni, obviously, and then went to working. And then guess what? Within 3 years, I was fed up of it. I hated it. And I never liked what was happening there. I never liked the people. Well, I liked the people on Fridays, or the last Fridays of the month, because we used to go out clubbing then. But I never liked the work I was doing. It's so bureaucratic, lots of politics. You have to kiss so many asses. It's just too much for me, right? I said to my listen, 5 years would be a long time to be in this dead-end job, right? Imagine, spend 3 years. Actually, I spent 2 years at college, right, to study business. And then I spent over 3 years at university to become an accountant, to do finance and accounting, only to realize it wasn't for me. It was something that is bureaucratic, so many politics in it. People don't care about what you do. Nobody appreciates what you do. I said to myself, I need to make a change in my life. I really need to think about where I want to see myself in the next 5, 6, 10 years. Right? One day I bumped into my director. I asked him, listen, I'm about to do my well, I started doing my CMA because this company was kind of sponsoring it. I said to the director, because he was the CEO of the company, because I was working for a packaging firm then. I said, I'm doing my CMA now. What do you really think the benefit of doing CMA? What did you actually use as a director now where you are at? I said, listen, he said to me, Raheem, I'm going to be honest with you. The CMA you do, or the degree you do, is just to get you through the doors. You have to go through so many politics. You have to be literally kissing asses. He did not say that to me verbally, obviously, but that's what he meant to have said to me, right? He said the only subject he used was statistics, right? I was thinking, wow, statistics is the only thing he used. Then I start thinking, basically, do I really need to finish my CMA? Do I really need to complete this? Right? And again, I looked at my manager. She was working ridiculous long hours. She's in France today, Belgium the next day, Denmark the other day, Sweden. She was all over the place. I looked at myself. 20 years from now, I might be this manager. I might be traveling. I might not be having any time to spend with my family. So that was the trigger point for me. But that was one of the trigger points that made me start literally finding a way to take action. But I always got back in my head, I needed £50,000. Right? To cut long story short, the office I used to work for in London get closed down. I had two options, either to go to Brussels, Belgium, or to move to Cardiff. Believe me or not, I know Wales was there, but I never knew where Cardiff was. I didn't even know where it was, the southeast, southwest. I just said, as long as it's in the UK, I'm going there. So obviously I ended up being here. I would start working for them here in their packaging branch as a fixed asset accountant. Again, exactly the same thing. It's so bureaucratic, so much politics, so much kissing asses, so much backbiting. You know, it wasn't really for me, to be honest. I did not like I did not like anything there. I was just doing it for the money. I thought, you know, if I become a management accountant or chartered accountant, and obviously I'll be making a bit more money. But I realized it would still put me in the same sort of place. It wouldn't really change my life. And again, I went into a search mode. I start thinking, what can I do? What sort of thing do I need to start doing? And I start doing my research. I did so many research about it. And then I bumped into a video. A YouTube video actually it was, that told me, actually, I can start my property investment journey with as little as, I think back then it was about £2,000. I was like, no, unbelievable. That was too good to be true. And then the video went on and said, actually, you can even start without any of your own money down. I said, no, this is too good to be true. I was told since the age of 15, I need to save £50,000 to £100,000 to be able to invest in property or even buy my own home. And I've had a video that tells me I can start my property investment journey without any of my own money. I said, no, I don't believe this, basically. Then I looked into the video, watched the first video, watched the second video, watched the third video. I saw him walking in these houses, showing the houses, how he's acquired the houses. I said, listen, it might just make sense. Right? So literally I binge studied that channel. I was looking at that channel. I knew about the strategies, now looking about it, doing research, subscribing to so many channels, subscribing to so many newsletters only about that strategy. Because I didn't have money then. I didn't have £50,000 to be able to buy a house. So for me, that was a mind-blowing moment for me back then. I was like, wow, is this really what people are doing? So all the information I've been fed was the wrong information. I said to myself, you know what? I'm not waiting to stay in that job for another 2 years because I was in my third year. Because I set myself a target, 5 years working for someone, and I'm out. I said to myself, no, I'm not waiting again for another two damn years. Kissing asses, playing work police. Along that side, obviously, I went to Africa, came back. I was ill. My manager then thought I did not arrive the day I was going to arrive. She thought I arrived over the weekend. So obviously, I didn't go Thursday and Friday at work after I arrived on Wednesday. She thought I arrived over the weekend. So I was just lying basically to say I'm being ill. So what she said basically, she asked me to bring my flight ticket to prove her that I arrived on that Wednesday. I did not just skip those two days. I went on the Monday. She asked me on the Monday. On the Tuesday, I went with the ticket. I showed her the ticket. I said, listen, I arrived on Wednesday. I didn't come to work because I wasn't feeling well. Right? And I said, Rahim, thank really for actually showing me that. I was just seeing what I said, listen, you did not trust me, right? You did not trust me. I told you I arrived on that day. So basically, that was my epiphany moment. I said to myself, enough was enough. This is it. I'm done with working for people. I now spent about 5 years doing this, what I'm doing now. But I'm done. I realized even doing the SEMA, finishing off the SEMA, I would only tighten that rope in my neck. Then I binge studied YouTube. I binge studied GoGo. Literally, I was looking for these strategies, learning about it, okay? At that time, I was in a shared house, right? I was in a 12-bedroom shared house. Believe with me or not, I was in a 12-bedroom HMO. I didn't even know what HMO meant then. But the good news was I used to live with my landlord. My landlord had a tiny studio within the building because it's a massive building. If you're in Cardiff, if you know Cardiff, it's in Cathedral Road. Cathedral Road is in Pontcanna, basically, Cathedral Road. They've got these massive properties. These properties are so massive. So I was in one of those properties. So one day, my landlord was in the sitting room. As soon as I knew it was in the sitting room, because he used to sit in the sitting room a lot. So I went and met him. I sat with him. I said, listen, I've got an idea about properties. But I used to ask him about properties. He knew I loved property, right? I break the barrier. I used to talk about properties, ask him if he wants me to help. I can help, etc., etc. So one day I sat with him. I said, listen, I've had a new idea about properties. Oh yeah, Raheem, tell me about this. I really want to hear about this. But I said, listen, I am able to go. There's a strategy that allow you to acquire a property without buying it and rent it out room by room basis. He said, hello? Who on earth would allow you to rent their property and you re-let it back? I said, yes, it's called rent to rent. So what happened is you have to tell the landlord what you are going to do with the property, right? So he's aware about it, and then you then go and do the property up nicely and rent it room by room basis. For him, it doesn't make sense. He doesn't see why a landlord would give you their property to rent instead of them doing it. I said, listen, the reason why they will do it is because, one, they're busy, they may have family commitment, they have other businesses, so they just don't have time to manage those properties. Hence the reason why they really want someone to take over the property. So I was able to convince him a little bit, and he was like, no, Raheem, if you can get a property like that, I will put down all the investment. I will invest everything. I told him it might cost you about £5,000-6,000. He said, Raheem, I don't care. If a landlord would believe you and hand their property to you to sublet, I would literally pay for the money, right? So basically, he said that because he thought I wouldn't be able to do it. He thought a landlord would not actually allow you to do that. I said, are you sure? He said, 100%. I will fund it, and I will even help you do the property up, right? I said, okay, fine. I went to work. I continued binge studying this strategy, right? I continue doing so many stuff about this strategy, okay? So I used to go in Gumtree, searching, sending emails, calling up landlords, telling them I want interest in their properties. I had so many headbangs because I didn't know what I was doing, right? I was just literally try and error because I didn't have money even to pay for my courses. I was working as an accountant. It wasn't enough for me to even live on because I've got so many responsibilities back home and abroad. So obviously, I didn't have that money, right? So I said, okay, I need to make this happen, right? So I start looking. I looked. It took me 7 months. 7 months to get my first deal. But the thing I did was I never ever gave up. When it goes hard, I thrive. I learn from my mistake, go on to the next call. Learn from that call, went to the next call. Learn from that call, went to the next. I never gave up. It took me 7 months. I think it's 8 months even, right, to get my first deal. But I never gave up one single day. Right? So what then happened? Fast forward 7 months. I don't want to bore you about how many racism, discrimination I faced, and all that sort of thing. I've had someone who told me they want to rent their property to me because I'm black. I had all that bullshit, okay? But I never gave up, right? I said, listen, I'm not going to give up. I'm going to thrive. That is their opinion. I wouldn't let their opinion become my own fact or become my own reality. That's what they thought. No, I'll pass on them, move on to the other one. So I was able to then secure a property very close to Cardiff City Centre, just opposite the Principality Stadium. If you know Cardiff, it's just opposite the Principality Stadium. It's a place called Fitzsimon Embankment. It's a massive building, Victorian building, absolutely gorgeous property. So I went and met this guy. He's a very young guy. He inherited the property. He works as a biochemist, obviously works long hours, and he hasn't got time to fully let the property, and his mom is elderly. He's got no one to help him with the property, right? So me approaching him was like a God sent, not knowing he was a God sent to me as well. So what makes that work? Because he's busy, he hasn't got time to rent the property. It was a 7-bedroom house, by the way. He's never let it out fully. He only had maybe 2 or 3 rooms empty, sometimes 4 rooms empty. And he hasn't got the time to do the viewings, he hasn't got the time to manage the property, etc., etc. Then he asked me if I could take it on. I met him, I said, listen, I think he charged, back then, it's about maybe 7 or 8 years ago now, he said he can let the property out to me for about £1,500 for the 7-bedroom house. I said to him, listen, I may be able to, I'll consider that, but that money is a bit high for me because obviously I need to take on the property, I need to do furnishing, I need to do all that sort of thing. So I negotiated with him to get the property first below market rent. Again, I did not even know what below market rent back then, okay? I didn't know what that was. I just knew that I want to get the property at discount, okay? Because I was taking the risk. I did not know it was working. So because he was desperate and obviously needs my help, and I need his help, we were able to negotiate and got the deal for about £1,000. I think it's about £1,050. £1,050 per calendar month, okay? I told her I'll take full responsibility of the properties, free repair and maintenance, free management fees, and he's got access to come and see the properties whenever he wants, okay? So it was a good deal for him. So we agreed on that. He said, okay, before I close this deal, I need to speak to my mom. I need to get my mom involved. I said, okay, where's your mom? He went and got his mom. His mom came around, introduced myself to his mom. I told them who I am, what I intend to do in the property, and mom was happy with it because son was struggling, basically juggling that property and work, so it was just too difficult for him. I said, listen, if you can guarantee the rent to us, if you can guarantee the £1,050 every single month, the property is yours. I said, wow, really? Mine? I've got the property now, I haven't got money, right? I said, okay, fine. I said yes. I said to him, well, I was confident. I said, I'm going to guarantee you the rent, free repair and maintenance, free management fees, and it would only work for me, though, if I take the property for a minimum of 3 years. Is that okay with you? They looked at each other and said, Raheem, as long as you can guarantee me the rent every single month, you've got it for 3 years. I said, brilliant. Fine. I said, okay. The only thing I need to do now, basically, is to go and speak to my business partner. I said business partner. That was my landlord, because I know I didn't have money, and I would get back to you tomorrow, because I think we had the meeting on Saturday, so I went back on it. I went back home, met the landlord, my landlord then. I said, listen, I've got the property. He was like, are you serious? I said, yes, got the property. It's a 7-bed house, opposite Principality Stadium. I've told landlord we want the property on a guaranteed rent. We can rent the property room by room basis, because that's what he's doing anyways, and he was happy with it. He said, seriously? I said, seriously, he's happy with it. Right? He said, okay, no, Raheem, I need to go and see the property, and I need to speak to the people as well, just to believe that you've done it. I said, okay, fine. So what we did, basically, I called the landlord. I called him. I said, listen, I've got my business partner. He wants to meet you at the property so that he can see the property and also get to meet you in person as well. Brilliant. He said, okay, Raheem, I'm available at 4 o'clock. I said, fine. Saturday, 4 o'clock. We went, met the son, met the mom, and then me and my business partner. I told them just to confirm what we've agreed, £1,050 every calendar month. And also, I will guarantee the repairs, I'll guarantee you the maintenance, I'll guarantee you the management fees, and the rent is guaranteed as well for a minimum of 3 years. They said, are you happy with that? They're all happy with that. I brought the contract with me, right? I brought the contract with me. I said, I said to my landlord, listen, you need to get the money. You need to get the money ready, okay? So this fine. He said, don't worry about it, I'll get the money ready, okay? So what then happened, basically, we then signed the contract, right? And then we transferred the deposit. Okay, but when we transferred the deposit, again, I didn't know any of this when I was doing this. Okay, I was just doing it with spontaneous. I said, okay, now, as you know, I need to do a bit work in the property. Is it all right for me to take on the property today, and then the rent, I start paying the rent in about 2 or 3 weeks' time, because I need to buy furniture, we need to paint and decorate the house, and all that sort of thing. And then he said, okay, Raheem, yeah, that's not a problem at all. I'm happy for you to start the rent in about, say, I think it was on the 15th or the 13th when I approached him. He said, I'm happy for you to start paying me rent on the 1st of, actually on the 5th of each month. I said, brilliant, fantastic, fine. So we signed, we put the dates down, because back then we used to write the start date, and when we hand the keys over, we signed the contract, deposit was paid, we went to work straight away. As soon as they left the property, I was with the landlord, my landlord I live with. We looked at the property, we write down what we need to do, what sort of paint we need. We write everything down straight away, okay? So again, we went back home. We didn't know what we were doing there. Well, I didn't know what I was doing there. We went to IKEA, bought so many expensive furniture. The one that we keep, we kept. The one that we couldn't keep, obviously, we then get rid of it. So to fast forward, we were able to convert that house from a 7-bed to a 9-bedroom house, right? So what we do then, fast forward, and then obviously then we then do the property up, and then we were able to rent the whole property within a week. Within a week. And I didn't know about spare room back then. I only knew about Gumtree, right? Gumtree was where I put the property on, and then I got the property rented within a week. 9-bedroom house is fully let. And the funny thing about it, looking at it back now, is I realized then that was a no money down deal. That's one thing. And secondly, I realized my landlord was actually my joint venture partner. right? He was the joint venture partner. He was the one who put the money in, and actually we do the work together as well. But I was managing the property. So again, that's how I was able to get that. So that property then was generating us £1,950 every calendar month. You heard it right. From a 7-bed to a 9-bed, back then, we were making £1,950 net profit. So basically, round up to £2,000, I was making £1,000 in one single property every single month. Then I said, "Oh, this is nice. I want more of this. This is amazing. I want more of this. This is great. I want more of this." So what I did was, some of that money I used to educate myself, right? And then some of that money, then the landlord now realized, my partner now realized that there's money in it. He said, "Raheem, you go get them. I will fund it. Go get them." So I get my first property. Right, I get the second property, I got the third property, and then obviously once I've got the third property, what I then did basically is to go and pay for courses to educate myself so I can immerse myself in it, right? So I can know all the legality, all the stuff you need to do. I did not say because I've done the first one, now I know what I'm doing. I went out there, educate myself, right? Paid lots of money to educate myself, right? Once I've educated myself, guess what that does to me? It allows me to move from the existing property, from the existing HMO, my landlord, my partner's property, to our property, right? This is where the magic happens, okay? What happens then, when that happens, what then happens then basically, I spoke to my partner, my landlord, I said, "Listen, I know I'm living in your house, so how about if I can move in our own house, our rented house, so I can look after the house to ensure it's all nice and tidy," right? Number one, valid lesson I learned there as well. He's so tight. Every penny counts. He taught me money. He said to me, "Raheem, as long as I can get my £1,000 share every single month, you are free to move to that property. I don't know how you want to do it, right? I don't care how you did it, but I need to get my £1,000 every single month. I don't care. And you have to let this room you're living in currently before you move out." I said, "Whoa, that's a difficult one." I said, "Okay." So again, this is where I thought outside of the box, right? Back then, I don't know a lot about properties. I was renting the property in a 2-monthly contract, sometimes 3-monthly contract, basically, right? I wasn't keeping them long. I wasn't keeping long tenants. So because the landlord tells me then, because he was my partner, he said 3 months, that's what he does. I said, "Okay, that's fine." So we're renting in 3-monthly basis. So what I did basically, when the tenancy expires, right, I increase the rent to compensate the cost it would cost us for me moving in, right? So I was meant to pay £412 rent every single month if I was to move in. So what we did basically, we then spread that cost in the other bedrooms. So I was able to move in completely free. Right? That's what we did. I was able to move in completely free. So what I did then basically, I advertised my current bedroom, get that rented, increase the rent in my new house, right? And then left one of the room vacant for me to move in, right? So what that does basically, I'm still getting my £1,000 net profit every single month. I move in now, I don't have to pay rent because I'm living there rent free. I don't have to pay for electricity. I don't have to pay for gas. I don't have to pay for the internet. I don't have to pay for water rate. The tenant pays all that for me. Basically, I was living rent-free. I was living absolutely rent-free in that house. So what I then did basically, any money I get from that, I store it, not save it. I store it. Any money I get from my work, from my employment, I store it, put it aside, go and get another property, rent-to-rent property, move on, get another rent-to-rent properties. Any money I make from it, I store it, educate myself, invest. Educate myself, invest. Educate myself, invest. I went to so many courses. I met lots of property coaches. You may have seen my videos with different property coaches. I did not say I'm going to go to one and that's it. I was literally binge studying properties, right? So I was then back then I was making about, when I got my 5th property, I was making about £3,000 to £4,000 a month, right? 3,000 to 4,000, that's what I was making a month. And I was living rent-free as well. So the only cost I had in me was my food. right? And I'm parsimonious as well. And again, I learned this from a very good friend of mine, Kevin Green. I am parsimonious. I am very, very tight with money. So I go and buy food or things in a discount shop, right? I wait until the evening. I go to the supermarket to buy best before date, something like that. Those things that are about to expire, but the supermarkets are not allowed to sell it, okay? Because if nobody buys it, it's going to the bin. So I wait in the evening, I go and pick all those stuff up, and then take it home, and then obviously that then becomes my food. And then obviously I go to cash and carries to buy my food, go to Lidl, Aldi, I still go there, by the way, every single day. So again, I was saving lots. Any money I get, I store it. I store the money, and then I reinvest that money in rent to rent, right? Once I know rent to rent, I educate myself in another strategy called rent to service accommodation. Right? It becomes a lot better. So before I quit my job, basically, I need to explain that to you. I quit my job, right, when I had my third property, when I had my third rent-to-rent property, right? It wasn't the same amount, but because I've saved enough now and I've had passive income coming in, I said I want to go properties full time. I educated myself, right? I start closing 10, 15, 20 deals a year, right? Then the rest become history. So what I then do basically, I had myself about 5 or 6 rental SA back then. Each of them was generating me about 1,500 net profit every single month. This is average. 1,500 pounds every single month. That's what the property was each property was generating me. So basically, I'll tell you what my income was, because I'm promised to share my journey here so you can all see what I can do, what I did about it. Okay? So, in average, each of my essays, I had 5 essays, was generating me about 1,500 pounds. So 1,500 times 5, that's about 7,500 pounds per calendar month, okay? And I've got few rent to rent as well. Let's just say, I can't remember top of my head how many of them. Let's just say, maybe I had about 5 rental essays, no, not 5. I think I had 10 rental essays then. Sorry, rent to rent then. So each one of them was generating me, in average, about 800 pounds, right? Times 10 properties. So 8,000 pounds, right? On my rent to rent properties, right? Plus 1,500 times 5 properties, plus 8,000. So I was making about 15K, right? About 15,500. So what I then did basically, I did not spend that money. Right? I did not go and buy the most expensive car. I did not go and get myself a nice flat. I did not go on and buy expensive trainers. I stayed where I was, right? I stayed where I was. I didn't go anywhere, right? I did not go and increase my expense, right? I did not go and buy the expensive car. I had a Vauxhall back then, Vauxhall Astra I think I had. I didn't change it. I stuck with it. One of my brothers hit it, literally smashed it when he was driving, but I kept it. I never bought a new one. So I stayed in my shared house, in my HMO, and I was about 10 to 15K a month. So what I did basically, I stored that money, right? Guess what I start doing then? I start acquiring properties. I start buying houses. So I bought my first house in Port Talbot. It's a very, very, very small village called Glencorrigg. Again, a lesson to be learned there. I bought this property in a place called Port Talbot, Glencorrigg. It's a village that you can maybe only 50 people live in that village, if not less. I saw it online. I thought it's an amazing property. Bought it, the wrong location, wrong price. Everything was horrible about that property. Everything was horrible, right? I thought because I know rent to SA, basically I can do buy, refurbish, and refinance, not knowing I need to go and educate myself in that strategy as well. So what I did basically, I made a mistake on that. I lost about 60 to 70,000 pounds on it, but I did not give up, right? I did not give up. I was the laborer of my builders, right? When I lost that money, I had shingles. I don't want to explain to you the whole history about that property because there's a whole story about that property, right? So obviously, I didn't give up. If that was any other person that lost 60K in their day, would have said, you know what, this is it. This is not for me anymore, right? This is just not for me. I'll stick to rent and rent to say that's it. Okay, I lost that money. I nearly went back to square one, right? But I did not give up, right? I saved money from my rent to SAs. Again, buy second property, do it up, remortgage, pull some out. Now, when I lost that money, I went and paid for a course. I went and educate myself, right? When I educate myself there, basically, and again, I start buying one property, do it up, remortgage, pull some of the investment out, buy the second one, do it up and pull some of the investment out. I rinse and repeat the process. Now my property portfolio has diversified. I have rent to rent, I have rent to estate, and now I have my own properties. So once I've started few properties of my name, then I've created my own company, obviously, and then basically I start buying properties under that company name, okay? And again, I established my own estate agency. We deal with lettings, sales, and I created the estate agency to become a magnet to get deals. So what that did basically it makes me become an authority in the area. So basically people are coming with their troubles, with their deals, wanting to sell. I'll help them sell the properties. I'll help them rent their properties. I'll take the properties on a rent-to-rent basis as well. So I was able to accumulate deals from there, not so much money from it, but I was able to actually acquire lots of deals through that process. And then guess what? A couple of years later, I established my renovation company. And my renovation company now do my properties. I subcontract my BRRR properties to my renovation company. So my renovation company does the work for my property investment company, and then obviously the money stays within me basically, right? So now what I do with that renovation company now is to do my own properties and also do properties for my student. Because what I do, once I've done my renovation company, now I've got an education property. I got an education business to actually train people how to start and scale their investment journey, how they can start investing in property. So I train them, or how they could start buying property. I have my own kind of mentorship program. So what I now do basically with those two businesses, I get my renovation company to do my renovation work and do my student work. Right? If a student bought a property, for example, in South Wales or north of England, if I've got my builders there, they do the work for them as well, right? And if they bought the property in Wales, and again, we do the work for them. So again, in that way, then it fosters a win-win resolution. I mentor my students, coach them, show them how to get property, show them how to fish, right? They go and fish, we help them get the work, and again, I do the work as if I own the property. Right, so basically I'm not making massive margin on it. It's purely just to help my student so I can help them actually get to the level where they want to go. And there's so many property coaches out there. They can only help you, they can only show you how to get properties. They don't help you with the renovation work. They don't help you with actually setting up the property. They don't help you advertising the property. But my mentorship program, basically, what we do, basically, we help you, mentor you, how to get the property. Once you've got the property, I help you renovate the property. You could either use my renovation company, right? Or I can help you find your own builders to do your work for you, right? I'll help you get the work. And even if my company is doing the work for you, I ask you to go get other builders to give you a quotation, right? And again, with that, then you can see whether our quote is favorable to you or not. And if it's not favorable to you, and it's not hot feelings as well, because my objective basically is to get them to get the work done. Right? That's all I want, right? Whether it's favorable or not, that's what I want. So basically, what then happens, basically, they then work with us, we renovate the property for them, that becomes a done-for-you service. It doesn't stop there. I've got my estate agency. My estate agency advertises the property for them. In the case that they want to rent it, we rent it for them, right? If they want to sell it, we help them sell it. And the icing on the cake also, some of them want guaranteed rent. My company also leases the properties from them on a rent-to-rent basis. So it's a kind of a win-win resolution. Why am I sharing all this? The reason why I'm sharing all this to you is basically just to tell you, right? If you become greedy and selfish and perseverance, in the next 3 years, you can do exactly the same thing. I'm sharing this with you for it to be an example, for it to be an inspiration, for you to know if I can do it, you can do it yourself. You can see what I've done there, nothing to do with my accountancy skills, nothing for me, nothing with me being an accountant, nothing like that, nothing to do with money, right? The thing that gets me there is my mindset, my motivation, my perseverance, my never ever giving up mindset. That's what gets me there. And you could do exactly the same thing. right? If you want tomorrow to be better than today, these are the things you could be doing. I really hope this video has inspired you or has given you some light bulb moment that would allow you to take yourself from where you are to where you want to go. Again, if you're interested in learning about how I implement all these strategies, book me for a free strategy call, 30 minutes, absolutely free. You don't have to pay anything, it's absolutely free, to know a lot about you and see how I may be able to help you. And again, there's a link on the description below. Click on that link, book yourself for a free strategy call, and I would love to have you speaking with you to learn about your property investment journey. If you like this video or any of my videos, hit the like button below, subscribe to my channel for more of these amazing tutorials. I look forward to sharing the next video.